The Piano Teacher 2001. Erika Kohut is a pianist teaching music. Schubert and Schumann are her forte, but she is not quite at concert level. She is approaching middle age, living with her mother who is domineering then submissive. Erika is a victim then combative. With her students, she is severe. She visits a shop to watch DVDs. She walks a drive-in theater to stare at couples having love. Walter is a self-assured student with some musical talent. He auditioned for her class and is forthright in his attraction to her. She responds coldly, then demands he let her lead. Next, she changes the game with a letter inviting him into her fantasies. How will he respond? How does love have power over our other faculties? Vash Celebrity Presents Top 10 Movies like The Piano Teacher. Number 10. Scarborough 2018. Two couples check into a rundown hotel on the seafront in Scarborough. Two of the people involved are barely 16 and the other two are their teachers. The dynamic of the teacher-pupil relationship is put to the test over 2 weekends in Scarborough. Whilst it seems that the couples are aware of each other's presence, they do not interact with each other. The hotel in the film is the Grand Hotel. For the film, the name was changed to the Metropole. One of several fantastic films shot in recent years in the seaside town of Scarborough. Others include Phantom Thread and Saint Maud. Movie is directed by Barnabas Southcombe. Barnabas Southcombe studied French and history of art at University College London, where he became involved in theatres. Upon graduation, he directed an adaptation of Harold Pinter's Betrayal at the studio des Champs Elysees in Paris. Number 9. Love Lessons 1995. All Things Fair take place in 1943. Stig meets his teacher Viola. His life changes forever. They start an affair. She is 37 and he is 15. But that makes no difference to them. Viola's husband is always drunk and unfaithful, so she thinks her own affair is therefore justified. The girl next door, however, also shares love for Stig and is disappointed he never notices her. The affair grows dangerous and Viola is risking everything. Then one day Stig realizes love does exist with someone his own age and Viola lets him pay dearly for his realization. All Things Fair is a strange kind of film because it is always transforming itself. While it always remains a coming-of-age film, it ranges in its focus, touching on many different expressions. Obviously, this makes it hard to categorize, hard to follow, hard to analyze, and all this seems to add up to a good thing. It starts out so luridly that I thought I was in for a Swedish version of Private Relations, but somehow it managed to continually evolve into something quite else. The changes in pace and locus give the narrative a certain elliptical feel which consolidate the nostalgic representation. Number 8. Beyond the Mountains and Hills 2016. Returning to civilian life after 27 years in the army isn't as easy as David had hoped. It's hard to re-establish daily contact with his family, with the dimension of his home and above all, with the new Israel, an ultra-competitive society obsessed with success. Thus, the opportunity to join a company which produces nutritional supplements seems like a possible escape to be seized without hesitation. But David doesn't know how much his country has changed. Director of the movie is Aaron Collerin. Aaron Collerin's previous film, The Exchange, had to be with intentionally attacking the connection between people and their context. In this new one, a man is dislodged from his context. He retired from his job in the standing army and he finds himself a bit of a stranger among his family. His daughter, his wife and his son all have secrets from him, although each of them also reflect an aspect of his own tendencies. The scenes of the film are paced in surprising ways. Some moments last longer than a viewer would normally expect. Others are cut off abruptly, and sometimes the film skips moments that we might expect to see. Number 7. The French Teacher 2019. Cleo, middle-aged teacher who is grappling with complicated personal dilemmas. Hesitantly, she begins an affair with Matthew, one of her students who is half her age. After the death of her father, her daughter Sophie returned home from New York to stay with her. The already fraught relationship between mother and daughter is intensified when a triangle emerges between Cleo, Sophie and Matthew. The present collide with the past, as long-buried family issues are unearthed in this complex, intergenerational drama. Mary Lauren likes both Goddard and Truffaut, but her daughter Anna Maiche and Lauren's young boyfriend Sean Patrick McGowan both prefer Truffaut. This is a crucial bit because although intergenerational attraction can happen at any times, it is the cultural proclivities that matter. The connection to someone your own age are deeply cultural. You both grew up listening to the same music and watching the same films. The degree that time changes cultural views and experiences weighs heavily on a couple who were born many years apart. Number 6. The Violin Player 2018. 45-year-old Karen is a leading violinist who loses the sensitivity in her fingers after a traffic accident. Since playing the violin is no longer possible for her, she ends up teaching promising young talents. 27-year-old Auntie in particular catches her attention and she decides to raise him as high in the music world as she has been. But soon their student-teacher relationship moves towards the gray area of power relations, although they are from different worlds and generations. Causes and consequences, dreams and reality, these perceptions are quite different for both parties. She has a son but unhappy marriage to Jaco, who is trying his best to adapt to her mood swings, and ex-lover Bon are also entangled in this web of relationships. Shot with a lot of close-up with the background out of focus, signifies perhaps the future is unknown for all three. A sensory experience. The music is beautiful. Karen's country house is beautiful. Snow, ice, brittle like Karen. The street is beautiful. Auntie smells it and you can almost smell it too. Number 5. Plum Blossom 2000. A tender coming of age story about two teenage boys who embrace growing pains in a hard way. Teenage hormones are difficult to be restrained. High school senior Jayo is seduced into his first love experience by classmate Hara, who eventually kills herself when he ignores her. Since then, he immerses himself in loveless time until he meets cheerful nurse named Ok. Meanwhile, his pal Su-in has developed a crush on Jung-hae, his teacher, which is socially taboo. Plum Blossom is primarily about two schoolmates Se-in and Jae-ho and their transformation to manhood, from the naivete associated with the late teens. Jae-ho is at first very shy about love, but after his first very emotionally draining experience, he comes to treat love in a very physical and emotionless manner. Se-in, on the other hand, falls in love with an older woman and seems incapable of accepting the reality that there can be no relationship between the two. His love for the woman preempts any deep feeling from developing with any other girls his age. Number 4. Wet Season 2019. Malaysia-born Ling teaches Mandarin at a Singapore high school where her subject is regarded as low priority. Ling's home life offers scant consolation. For 8 years, she and her husband have been trying to conceive a child, and the process has eroded much of the tenderness they once shared. What's more, with her husband increasingly out of the house at all hours, Ling is left on her own to care for her ailing father-in-law. Unexpected source of alleviation arrives in Ling's friendship with Wei Lun, the only student in her class to show real interest. Like Ling, Wei Lun feels neglected at home, and though he participates in competitive wushu, he seems alienated by kids his own age. Wei Lu's youthful enthusiasm, accompanied by what appeared to be an endearing crush, helped Ling weather a seemingly endless torrent of frustration and disappointment, but the time will come when even this alliance will reach its inevitable limit. Official submission of Singapore for the Best International Feature Film category of the 93rd Academy Award in 2021. Number 3. Rending 2001. Edgar arrived at the prestigious University of Coimbra to go back to his law studies. During a typical race genko ceremony where students rip each other's university robe, Edgar meets Enarita, a middle-class student, and seduces her. But she is not his only lover. The rigidly elite university context lead Edgar to perform symbolic and violent acts against young female students. Ras Genko is a movie that is a unique vision of a subject that I had never seen portrayed in a movie. By unique, I mean it is a movie which doesn't glue itself to any specific genre or try to blend some of them. The director just tried to tell the story with her own ideas and therefore with honesty, a major quality in this movie and also in movies in general. Especially when the Hollywood industry just produces variation on a handful of subjects and genres. In this condition, it's harder to make a 100% effective movie, and in this case, the picture is not totally accomplished. The fact that it portrays a reality which I am familiarized with was also interesting to me. Number 2. Vash Repetitor 2018. 17-year-old Seva has finished school and is preparing to enter the university. He is on the verge of adulthood, the responsibility for which rests on his shoulders. He must prepare for the exam in foreign literature and decide to find a teacher on the site Your Tutor. At this time, his parents leave on vacation, leaving him alone at home. Anna is a literature teacher, a mature, lonely woman who finds it easier to understand the heroes of old novels than her family mired in routine. She does not notice that her new student is not a teenager but a young man. Due to a young age, a schoolboy attracts peers who show him all sorts of signs of attention, and Anna's modesty and charm are of interest to respectable men. They study the novel Madame Bovary, but after a few classes they are carried away by their own novel. According to the tradition of the genre, it does not bode well, but it does not stop our heroes. Complex trials and temptation of life will be a real test of the feeling of a couple in love. Number 1. Malchik I Devochka 2010. A story about a 16-year-old boy that falls in love with his 32-year-old schoolteacher. His authoritarian mother tried to separate the two lovers, getting into a severe conflict with her son. A neighboring teenage girl, being in love with the boy herself, become a witness and a participant in this dramatic romance story. 16-year-old Maxim is a modern teenager, still very dependent on his domineering mother, a teacher at his own school. During the summer holidays, they go to their humble summer house near Moscow together with 32-year-old English teacher Dina. A stormy romance erupts between Maxim and Dina, and his mother takes them by surprise. Role of English teacher Dina is played by Daria Pourinova. Daria Pourinova was born on June 15, 1972 in Moscow, Russia. She is an actress known for Mak2, Perry, and Periskaya Lyubov Kosti Gumankova. She was previously married to Alexander Zygalkin.